Managed, though, to eject before impact, but the crash triggering a massive forest fire. Crews now working to bring the flames under control. We'll keep an eye on this developing story. As you can see, the chopper right there with the water. Okay, now this story. Developments in the case of the Texas dad accused of gunning down the drunk driver who struck and killed his two sons. His trial begins in just days, and it's a case filled with complexities. First, the dad denies doing it, but his defense team isn't saying who they think did. Then, no weapon was ever found, and no witnesses identified him, theoretically, as the shooter. Plus, he's got public sentiment on his side, with many in his community saying they would have taken the law into their own hands in a similar situation. So how will all this affect the jury? Joining me now, Dan Schorr, former prosecutor and managing director at Schorr. All right, Dan, so many people at home are saying, wow, if I witnessed my two children allegedly get killed by a drunk driver, yeah, maybe I'd do the same thing.
And that cuts two ways. On the one hand, there's sympathy, and that may help him with a jury or with the judge at sentencing, but it also provides motive, a clear motive to kill, and the prosecution's using that motive in building their case that he committed murder.
You're a former prosecutor. Would this be a tough case for you?
You have to bring this case as a prosecutor because you can't allow people to take the law into their own hands. Certainly it's a tragic, horrible situation. Your heart goes out to the father who lost his two children, but at the same time you can't allow people to then kill the person that they feel did something wrong. The justice system has to arrest that person, prosecute them. That person's entitled to a jury before being convicted, and you can't allow someone to just shoot somebody, although certainly it's a horrible, tragic case.
All right, so let's bring them some more details. This happened 2 years ago in Texas. Apparently the accident happens. Then allegedly this father goes back to his house, gets a gun, and comes back and shoots the drunk driver. But they never find a weapon, and he says he didn't own a gun.
Right. The prosecution theory of the case is he went home and got a weapon. They found ammunition in his home consistent with the bullet used to kill this driver. We see eyewitnesses who saw this defendant go up to the car, but no one can identify him as actually shooting this person. Of course, he's someone who has clear motive, and the shooting occurs just minutes after his two children are hit by this drunk driver. So there's a strong circumstantial case, but the defense is saying that he's not the shooter.
All right. So if you're the defense, if you're the attorney representing him, can you use as your case, let's have sympathy on this man, and just tell the truth, or does that not work?
Sympathy can work, but you have to be really careful how you word it. A jury can do what's called jury nullification, where based on sympathy they acquit somebody, but a defense attorney isn't allowed to specifically ask for that. You can't say, find him not guilty because you sympathize with him. But sometimes juries will do that on their own, and I'm sure the defense attorney will bring up the facts that led to the shooting and try to get sympathy. There was a grand jury in Texas a couple of years ago that failed to indict a man who beat up and killed another man who had molested his daughter, presumably because they felt sympathy for him because he caught this man molesting his 5-year-old daughter. In this case, the defense may go for sympathy, but they're also arguing that he didn't commit the shooting at all. They may try both things at the same time. All
right. Very interesting case and very sad case as well. Dan Schorr, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we have great police work to tell you about today on The Real Story. It's about how one town narrowly avoids a huge tragedy. How police in this